Starship has just completed its 11th test flight, marking one of SpaceX's most stable launches so far. Every key milestone, liftoff, stage separation, and dual splashdowns went as planned. But engineers reported a few minor anomalies during re-entry and engine restart tests that could quietly shape the next upgrade. What really happened behind this near-perfect mission? Let's dive right in. After months of silence and speculation, Starship finally roared back to life for its 11th test flight. And this time, it wasn't just another test. It was a statement. SpaceX had promised improvements, but few expected this much refinement in a single mission. On the surface, it looked like smooth sailing. But when we dig deeper, what Flight 11 revealed could quietly mark the beginning of Starship's most critical phase yet. At exactly 6:23 p.m. in Texas, the Super Heavy booster lit up the sky. All 33 Raptor engines came alive, perfectly synchronized, a feat that even NASA engineers called statistically improbable. The roar was cleaner, brighter, and the telemetry data showed unusually stable chamber pressures across all engines. But what few realized is that this was the first time SpaceX tested a new ignition timing sequence, a subtle software change designed to prevent uneven thrust oscillations that plagued earlier flights. That alone was a massive step forward. When the countdown hit 0, the rocket didn't just launch, it flowed off the pad. Smooth thrust vectoring, no visible pad damage, no engine flicker. The improvements were visible to anyone who had followed Starship since the explosive days of Flight 4 and 5. Stage separation was flawless. At around T plus 2 minutes 50 seconds, all but 3 Raptor engines on the booster shut down, while 6 engines on the Starship upper stage ignited through the hot staging ring. An explosive, yet elegantly timed ballet of fire. And here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't just routine. It was the last planned use of this specific hot stage adapter. SpaceX engineers were testing how efficiently they could rebuild the system for future recoveries. That adapter, though it looks like a simple ring of metal, is the key to reusability, controlling the pressure balance and preventing debris backflow during engine ignition. So while most people saw a successful stage separation, insiders saw a final experiment before SpaceX transitions to the V4 hardware designed for full recovery of both stages. Booster 15, the workhorse of this flight, had flown before, but this time it came back smarter. The descent profile was completely new. Instead of relying on fixed engine groups, SpaceX tested dynamic engine switching, transitioning from 13 to 5 to 3 engines during the final landing burn. It sounds simple, but it's groundbreaking. By dynamically balancing the center of thrust, they improved both precision and fuel efficiency for future land-based recoveries. Telemetry later confirmed that the booster splashed down within 1 kilometer of its predicted target zone, a precision record for a Super Heavy test. And while it self-destructed moments later for safety reasons, Elon Musk's tweet later hinted at something subtle. Booster systems behaved exactly as modeled. We're ready for next step. That single sentence suggests that SpaceX has enough data to move toward real booster recovery, possibly even on a landing pad, something that seemed impossible just a year ago. Meanwhile, the Starship upper stage, Ship 38, continued its climb. After separation, all 6 Raptor engines fired perfectly, burning for nearly 8 minutes and 50 seconds, achieving a nominal suborbital insertion. Then came the real test. Engine reignition in space. For the first time since Flight 9, SpaceX attempted a microgravity restart, and it worked. That single event validated months of redesigns on the Raptor vacuum systems. Why does that matter? Because if Starship can reliably restart in orbit, it can reach the moon and come back. That's not hype. It's the fundamental requirement for NASA's Artemis program. To simulate payload operations, SpaceX also deployed 8 Starlink mass simulators, weighted dummies designed to mimic satellite cargo deployment. The data from these deployments will determine how Starship handles vibration and torque when ejecting real payloads in future missions. Re-entry is where most Starships have failed. Tiles breaking, plasma instability, unpredictable roll moments, all nightmares from previous tests. But Flight 11 surprised everyone. The new heat shield configuration, designed with updated tile geometry and adhesive patterns, held firm. No visible tile shedding, no uncontrolled flips. SpaceX also tested a new re-entry angle, slightly shallower than before, allowing the ship to dissipate heat more gradually while gathering key aerodynamic data. The result? A stable, controlled descent through one of the harshest re-entry profiles attempted to date. And although Starship was not meant to be recovered, the telemetry feed confirmed it landed softly in the Indian Ocean, right on target. That's precision orbital control at a scale no private company has ever achieved. To the public, Flight 11 was just another test, but to those following the iterative design philosophy of SpaceX, it marked a transition point, from experimental chaos to engineering maturity. Let's connect the dots. New Raptor ignition sequence, stable thrust, and reduced vibration. Dynamic engine switching, future pad recovery capability, in-space reignition, readiness for lunar and Mars missions, heat shield durability, critical for full reusability. When you add those up, Flight 11 quietly completed nearly all the technical checkboxes Musk's team needs before transitioning to Starship V4, the variant expected to carry crew and cargo beyond Earth orbit. So yes, it looked simple, but under the surface, this flight might be the last step before the biggest leap yet. However, some reports hinted at minor anomalies during re-entry telemetry. A few data packets from the engine control system showed temporary signal latency, possibly due to plasma interference. SpaceX hasn't publicly addressed it, but that's typical. They gather, analyze, iterate, and move on. Still, some aerospace analysts suggest this was a quiet stress test, intentionally pushing limits to see where systems might fail under real heat loads. If true, that means Flight 11 wasn't just a validation mission. It was a controlled risk experiment, one that might reveal how close SpaceX really is to catching these boosters live. And that's the kind of risk-taking that separates SpaceX from every other space company on Earth. When we piece everything together, Flight 11 wasn't about proving what Starship can do. It was about proving what it can survive. Think about it. Every system, from ignition to re-entry, was stress-tested under operational loads. And yet the rocket performed better than ever. This flight showed the world that SpaceX has mastered the chaos, not by avoiding failure, but by learning faster than anyone else dares to try. Flight 11 didn't just check technical boxes. It symbolized a shift in SpaceX's development philosophy, from chasing milestones to engineering sustainability. The kind of shift that transforms rockets from disposable prototypes into interplanetary workhorses. Now here's the real question. Do you think SpaceX is finally ready for full recovery in orbital refueling tests in Flight 12? Or are they still gathering data quietly before the next big leap? Share your thoughts below. What do you think Flight 11 really revealed about the next generation of Starship? Your insights help shape the conversation and build a smarter space community. And that's the real takeaway from Flight 11. SpaceX isn't just testing rockets anymore. They're proving a system that could make space travel truly reusable. Every small improvement, from engine stability to re-entry control, moves humanity closer to affordable, repeatable access to orbit. If you found this breakdown valuable, give the video a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Space Hub for clear, fact-based updates on every major step toward the next era of space exploration. Turn on notifications because the next Starship flight could rewrite what we thought possible. And you'll want to see it here first, only on Space Hub.